So we are talking another keeper switch. This is for a faux award that we made up to start the year called the Wilt Chamberlain Stat Sheet Stuffer Supreme Award. This goes to the person who wins are completely irrelevant in this conversation. Wins don't mean dick. It's solely about what can you do statistically and what did you do throughout the season. We're looking for the most eye-popping stats of the year. My preseason pick was Nikola Jokic, right? I did not expect him to win putting up numbers. That was surprising. I didn't see that coming. That's why I picked him here, and I didn't think about him for MVP. If I thought he was going to win, I think I would have thought I would have heavily considered him as an MVP to start the year. But I just figured he was going to be like a 25-point triple-double every night, and just worry about his, because that's in the beginning of the year. That's basically what it was. They weren't winning. They went on a.
So you didn't expect them to make it to the third seed?
I definitely didn't expect them to be in the MVP conversation. No. So no, I didn't. I think in the beginning of the year we had it. What, Lakers?
In terms of MVP or the top seed?
That top three.
I just thought I feel like I thought that I thought that they'd be a fourth seed, because I just felt like they were a middle of the pack team.
Yeah, and they had reached. I guess they had reached the top of the conference in previous years. So the last 2 years they had a high win total.
Yeah,
but he was never in the. I don't know. I guess I just didn't see it. To answer your question, but I mean, sick, because now he can be looked at as, like, if he wins this MVP award, his whole, like, now he gets to build a little legacy, which will be cool. Which I don't know. I just didn't. I guess when the season started, I knew he was great. I knew he was probably the best passing big man I'd seen. But I guess with the more shine, I didn't expect him to flourish, and he really did. Didn't matter whether he lost teammates. Like, he's one of those guys that makes everybody better.
Yeah.
And what I'm interested to see is who, and this is something I thought about the other day. Who out of this Denver team that's underpaid is going to get a stupid contract because of how well Jokic is making them look?
Oh.
Like, I'd have to look at the contracts, but I was thinking about it because I was like, there are some guys on the Nuggets who completely overperform because Jokic just finds them in the best spots. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, yeah. There's definitely players that happens to all the time.
I wonder what Michael Porter Jr.'s development would be without a guy like Jokic. Like, I wonder if he'd be as good right now, considering he was injured with a back injury to start his career.
Yeah.
I think all that stuff's interesting. But I don't know if I can keep him for this award now.
Why?
Because I don't think he had the most ridiculous stats this year.
Who did?
Really? Why not? Yeah. Who do you think?
I think your candidate did.
Really? What's crazy is I feel like Joker, because what did he? I mean, I feel like he's definitely, like, I wouldn't be mad if we really did have this award show and he won it. Like,
Oh, I mean, yeah, of course.
I mean, he averaging 26, 11, and 8 as a center.
Yeah, it's like completely unheard of since, like, Wilt Chamberlain was leading the league in assists as a center in the 60s.
Yeah.
Centers
And
don't
like
get assists.
And like the guy we would compare him to would be a Larry Bird, right?
Oh, for sure.
And has Larry Bird even put up stats like that?
Yes. I think this is Larry Bird. Well, actually, you know what?
I don't know if Larry Bird ever got the 8 assists.
I think he got to 6. I think you know what his stats look like? Julius Randle. His and Julius Randle's stat line look like very similar.
Who? Larry's or?
Yeah, Larry's and Julius Randle's. Oh,
I don't know. Larry had a little bit more points. He had like 29 instead of 24
in a couple of these years, but his average was 24, 10, and 6.
Oh yeah, but it's different for a whole career. It's like
24, 10, and 6. Yeah.
But did Larry ever get 8 assists? Almost
So he had his career high was 86, 87 during those years where they were moving the ball like crazy. He had 28, 9, and 7.
Yeah.
closer to like a LeBron.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
but I see exactly what your point is.
like that to me is just insane that he was able to keep up, because he was averaging a triple double probably for like the first like 20, 30 games or something.
Yeah,
I
let me see
remember
if I
that.
can get that. I think you're right.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that and I was like, that was insane. But the reason, if you look at the year by year stats, he only averaged like 29 and something the year before, so that's why he wasn't in MVP contention. Once he finally got to that superstar, well over the superstar threshold that we usually look for, the 25,
Yeah.
5 and 5.
I agree with that for sure.
What is it? First 13 games, yeah.
13.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can keep it going. But it was for a while.
He did it. Yeah, it was for a while, and even without it, look, like he's still kind of averaging.
But do you know what's crazier than averaging a triple double through a couple of games?
What?
Is averaging a triple double for the whole season,
Yeah.
and it being the fourth fucking time.
Yeah.
He did that. And that is why I cannot, in good conscience, pick.
Well, we knew who was gonna win it. It was just more because when we first started talking about it, I had Joker as my guy, and I remember we switched because I was like, because when you said that you were picking Westbrook, I was like, oh, you could pick Westbrook. I didn't know, because I thought that was just his. I know we said the Wilt Chamberlain, whatever. I look at this as the Westbrook war. Because I'm sorry, I don't care what, like,
the reigning heavyweight statue stuffer champion of the world.
So when you allowed the switch and you were like, oh no, I'll take Joker, because I think you said that you were upset that I picked Joker or whatever. So that's why you went with Westbrook, huh?
Once we saw Joker start to play this year, I was pumped. Like he did go.
Oh, yeah, I remember thinking, I was like, damn, I probably should have stood with him. But I'm like, Westbrook started out slow, because I don't know if it was because he got COVID again,
and he was hurt. He had a knee injury. There was something that was wrong with his from the waist down. Something was wrong. And he had been interviewed, and once he got going again, and was asked what happened, like why did you start slow? And he was like, I was hurt, plain and simple. Yeah. And you know what? I guess he was, because the man, I want to see what he put up, because we did it with Jokic, but I want to see what Westbrook put up once he really got going.
Yeah.
And take those bad games out of it. Because what a pity that he didn't make the All-Star team. Because that's how rough he was at that point.
Yeah. Because I don't know if this happened before the playoffs or what, but I remember Westbrook had a bad stretch in the playoffs, and we thought it was all because of COVID. And then he kind of started out the season like that. So I remember partially thinking, like, is this guy like starting to just diminish,
23, 12, and 12 the last 48 games of the season.
Yeah. This
is straight video game shit.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. He's almost as good as my Mark player. But this is just insane, because Oscar Robertson is literally, well, he kind of destroyed Oscar Robertson's like legacy now.
I agree. Like, I was gonna bring this up after you. Go ahead.
Yeah, because at first, like, well, the only reason people, like, if anything, Oscar Robertson in the 70s or 60s, 60s, is probably more talked about between casual fans than Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain.
Right.
Because of that triple double. And that's why I had mentioned, I don't remember what video we were talking about, but I said that I think Russell Westbrook will be a top 3 person mentioned of this decade because of his triple doubles. I think he would be talked about more than Kevin Durant, even though Kevin Durant won 2 championships and was arguably the second best player in the league throughout most of this decade. I think Russell Westbrook, 30, 40 years from now, is going to be talked about way more than Kevin Durant is.
So we're looking at the career of Oscar Robertson right now. This is the career. This is what we have. Obviously, there's no offensive rebounding stats and defense. There's no strict rebounding stats. It's just total rebounds. Yep. And there's no steals and blocks, because we're before. What year was that? 1970. I got it right in front of me. 1973, 74.
Yep.
So I have a question though. So do you think that since Westbrook is going to be more talked about as a triple-double guy, that Oscar Robertson is going to be less talked about by casual fans eventually?
So another big thing about Oscar Robertson's career is that if you take the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seasons of his career,
Mm-hmm.
they average out to be a triple-double still, right?
Mm-hmm.
As I said with Nikola Jokic, you know what's better than that? Is literally having 4 seasons out of 5 in which you have a triple-double.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah.
That is where, in terms of being Mr. Triple-Double, that crown has officially been passed. There's no getting around that.
Yeah.
Oscar Robertson can no longer be considered Mr. Triple-Double. But it's just cool because, like, both of those guys played with, like, crazy anger. For different circumstances, but, like, they both played with intense rage and anger and spite. And that's what motivated them.
Did Oscar win an MVP?
No. Because that year he got the triple-double. His team never won enough games. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Westbrook's didn't either, but he's still...
Exactly. That's my point. Like, I just think that's an interesting point. Like, when we're old, hopefully we're still doing this, and we're old.
Yeah.
We can set the narrative. So.
Oh yeah. Well, it's different if you're actually watching it, but I'm just thinking, like, for me, before the last 5 years, the last 2 years, 3 years probably, I knew Oscar Robertson more about Oscar Robertson than Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. I knew about Wilt Chamberlain for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only, and this is past the 2-minute mark, so I could say this and feel okay. Wilt Chamberlain, 1, was obviously a dominant scorer, and he used to baby little white kids. And then 2, he used to fuck mad women.
This is exactly how you opened the Wilt Chamberlain legacy
I
breakdown.
can't with this.
What?
That's how you knew him?
That's exactly how you opened Wilt's legacy breakdown.
Oh, Jesus.
Same quote. The only 2 things I ever knew about that guy.
Yep. So that's how you know it's true. I mean, we don't got him in our archive, so I can't.
You don't know Wilt Chamberlain's most important stat.
I'm sorry, what?
The number of women he's.
Yeah, you don't know. Wilt Chamberlain's most important stat is 30,000 or 20,000.
I really don't believe that
That can't be actually fucking real, can it?
There's no way your dick can't pump that much.
I mean,
it really
can't. Are we sure he only had sex with women? Because that's a big number.
But no. The answer is no, first of all. Second of all, he probably had sex with 10 women at one time. Multiple times.
Okay, well, like he'd be in orgies and then he'd count heads.
When you're banging exponentially, like, it tends to add up.
Yeah, but who was he in an orgy and be like, wait, you gotta log in so I could add you to my numbers?
I can't believe we're getting into this, but he would count, like, if stewardess on an airplane gave him head, he counted that. Like that was all. That was all. I figured somebody was going to say
and
that.
Of course, he wouldn't fudge the stats. I mean, he's totally that kind of guy. So, all right, but besides that, everyone knew Oscar Robertson because it was like the only triple-double in NBA history.
Yeah,
like, that was the biggest thing, and no one gave a shit about Wilt's 50 and 25 because everyone thought he did it against little white kids.
I guess that's not the story I'm told, but.
No, I'm telling you based off of if you talk to someone who just a random fan and you be like, you know who Wilt Chamberlain is? They'd be like, I kind of know him. You know he dropped 50, and it's like, yeah, but that was when the old days where
I don't think that's
what they say.
I think people know him more for the 100-point game than the 50 points in a season.
Probably, yeah, I can see that too. The 100 points, yeah.
He's definitely way more known for that, I would say,
yeah.
And he's known for the women. And he's known for just being the greatest athlete possibly to ever step on Earth. For size, dimensions.
Definitely
really
not. That's a Russell thing.
No, definitely not. He was he holds plenty of records in college like NCAA track for like triple dunk,
wait,
triple
so
jump, and all kinds of shit.
are we not going to talk about James Harden then because you guys really decided that it was Russell Westbrook?
Oh, I mean,
No, that was
you
the last
can, but I mean,
No, I want to talk about James Harden
really not a conversation.
because Lindsay's got to pick. Oh. Are you going to keep her switch though? That's what I want to know.
I'm unsure at this moment, honestly. I could honestly pick any of them. This sucks. I'm the most indecisive bitch on the planet, apparently.
Let me talk about. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I love Lindsay's take integrity. She never, she don't give a shit. Like she could be completely like nah. She's like nah. I'll still go with my guy. I love it.
I mean, statistically, he didn't have a bad season, and he did do really well. And then I guess my argument to why I would maybe pick Harden over Westbrook would be just like shooting percentage is a good like stat stuffer, and then that's a difference. And then so maybe that's why I would lean towards Jokic over Westbrook because they had similar stat lines, but Jokic shot better. So actually, there you go. I made my decision. I'm switching to Jokic.
I want to see James Harden's like just pure Nets numbers. So purely on the Nets, he's 24, 8, and basically 11. 47% from the field, 36% from 3, and 85% from the line. He was basically a walking 25 and 10 this year, and he totally changed the way his game was, except for the time that Dario drove 10 hours to see him. He reverted straight into boring Harden mode.
I would like to say the passes that he did like have in that game, I remember thinking, that is amazing. Like how pinpoint, like accurate. Even when he passed it to the ref, like you know how when they get to do the long passes and they just have to get it to the ref, he would throw like a fucking straight shot and straight to the ref's chest, and I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
So what you're saying is James Harden, a lefty, would be amazing at quarterback. You could see him as a transcendent quarterback in the league.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Pinpoint accuracy, lefty.
He has the passing gifts for sure. Like a lot of the time, I remember thinking James Harden was and I don't know why I thought this because I think it was just seeing so much of his Houston career that it kind of made me feel that way. Because it was like just the Houston system was so boring, where you know he would pretty much cross people up, get by, and then once he got to the basket, he'll kick out. So it's like you're getting your assist, but it's like not really like you're not like the playmaking isn't astonishing. It's like you know, it's a stupid system that you guys have, which is working for the regular season.
It's like eating oatmeal every day for breakfast. Like it's kind of good for you, but like, do you really want to eat oatmeal every day for breakfast?
Yeah, and after a while, you're gonna like your shits are gonna suck. Like you know, it's gonna be like you're gonna have like crappy shits and where it's just like tight and yeah, you don't want to do that. So. So with Harden,
I wasn't going there. By the way,
that's where we're going.
That was not where I was trying to go.
I was just trying to say how the end result, which would be the playoffs, is like that's how where you end up. You're like, oh, I got tight stool now.
You went from Wilt Chamberlain banging bitches to diarrhea.
That's cool, man.
No, not diarrhea, constipation.
No, the exact opposite. My fault.
Yeah, but yeah, because Russell never pays attention to me. But but that's the point of a podcast. They gotta, be able to see us in every light, But James, and then I remembered James Harden in OKC, where he was that was his job, was to play make. He was pretty much the point guard when Russell Westbrook was pretty much the shooting guard. And they went to the finals and everything. And then that kind of seeing Harden this year, I was like, he really could turn it on from one to the next, like, which is amazing to me because that's hard for a superstar to want to do once they get to that point where they're looked at as a top 5 player in the league. You know what I mean? Like, for you to be, that's like, it takes a level of unselfishness to do that.
Yeah, but here's the thing with the unselfishness, right? He's technically unselfish because he's getting his teammates involved, whatever. But, like, the spotlight's on him. There's no getting around that.
Yeah. Well, that
No
but that's
matter
because
what.
of his talent at that point.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying, and it's a thing that's been said for a very long time. But I've always wanted to. I always found that interesting because LeBron, super unselfish. Spotlight's always on him.
Yeah, yeah.
Like all
I
these
do.
guys, short of Larry Bird and Magic, but even Magic, spotlight's always on him.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I do want to explain something because I remember earlier in the year, I try to say how he was a mixture of the two,
Yeah,
and I don't think you understood where I was coming from. And the only reason I now feel like I can explain it a little better was because when watching the Nets game, they were breaking it down. I can't remember who the hell was talking about it, but they were talking about, I think it was Kenny Smith actually,
yeah,
how him getting the ball demands so much attention, and then that's what makes his playmaking insane. And I think that in OKC he did not have that.
no, I agree.
He wasn't a primary scorer. He was more so a facilitator. So no one looked at him like that. And once he got to Houston, everyone looked at him as a primary scorer and not really that facilitator type. And now he can score on you whenever he wants if he truly tries to do that. And because of that, he has 3 to 4 guys paying attention to him when he's dribbling the ball. And I think that's the part that it kind of blends the two together. You know what I mean? Like, and when you have a case where Kyrie gets injured or KD gets injured or one of them sits out, then he could give you his 40-point triple-double if he wants to. You know what I mean?
You know what I think? I don't know if James Harden would admit it, but do you know when the switch happened for him in Houston when he started to lean more into the playmaking? Was when he got Chris Paul. And I bet your ass Chris Paul had something to do with that. Like, the playmaking obviously was in him and the facilitating, but in OKC, he was the second unit guy. He was the guy that sparked the offense on the second unit, and he just had less tools in the toolbox. You know what I mean? And now, like you said, he can just transition between the two styles pretty flawlessly, unless, of course, it's the postseason, in which he freezes up for random reasons and resorts back to literally all the terrible parts of his game. It's weird. I hope that changes for him.
Yeah, but that was. I'm not. We don't have to get into the playoffs part, but that was one of the things that I did not trust about him in the playoffs. That's
true. That's true. I was a believer, and now I'm just shocked. It surprises me.
We'll see. I mean, right now it's a pretty straightforward series, so I don't think he has to push the limits yet. So we'll see once he does have to.
But you're gonna keep Westbrook?
Yeah. I'm running with my boy Russ. Yo, Russ, 100%. He solidified himself as a top 25 player ever with these 4 triple doubles. He got 4 triple doubles, an MVP. I'm counting those 4 triple doubles as a ring. Fuck it.
Wow.
What are we talking about? Because think about it. Kyrie Irving has a championship, and he hit the game-winning shot in a Game 7 against the freaking 2016 Warriors. And there's no doubt in my head that Russell Westbrook is above him in terms of career. Like, overall career, he got an MVP, and he has 4 triple-doubles. I don't give a shit about that NBA Finals shot right now because my guy...
What if he gets 2 rings?
I don't care. I really don't care. It doesn't matter.
Crazy. You are changing the game here a little bit.
Yeah. Huh?
You were changing the game here a little bit. What you're saying to me is everything that Kobe worked hard for doesn't matter because he didn't win enough scoring titles. He should have just focused on that and didn't win championships.
No, you want to know why? You want to know what's the difference? Kobe Bryant, he led a team twice to the NBA Finals and won 2 Finals MVPs. Kyrie Irving was the second guy on an NBA Finals team and on a team that had LeBron James, and then he's going to be a second to third guy on an NBA Finals team to get that KD or Harden is going to lead them to. So that's the difference between what Kobe did and what Kyrie's doing. If we're talking about Kevin Durant to me, I look at Kevin Durant and I think he's above Westbrook personally. But I do truly think in 40, 30 years, people are going to talk about Westbrook, and I'm going to have to be arguing with young people who just talking stupid and saying, oh, this guy was the best player in the league at the time or whatever. And I'm going to be like, all right, let's sit down and watch this long 7-foot guy who can make any shot on the court. Like, I'm going to have to feel like an old head.
I don't know, dude. I think the whole culture's changed with the idea of championships. Like, championships are valued so much now that I don't. Oh, Ellie appearance. But championships are valued so much more than even when we were kids. Like, as soon as Jordan retired, it was 6 rings. That's the benchmark. Yeah, that's fucking it. That's what we're chasing. Literally, stats don't matter. It's about the benchmark of 6 rings.
Literally, no one from the 80s and on got those 6 rings. I mean, other than Kareem, but he got a lot of help. You know?
Yeah, what do you call it? What I'm saying is, I don't know. I don't know where Westbrook will fall with no rings, with 0 rings. With 1, all he needs is fucking 1, and he could be Gary Payton. He could be at the end of the bench for Miami and get a ring, and I'm fucking cool with it.
Yeah.
He could do what Derrick Rose is doing in New York to try and get a ring.
All right, so tell me this.
I'd be cool with it.
So where if you had to think of Russell Westbrook, where he ranks to you, is he a top 50 player of all time?
Yeah.
Do you think he's a top 40 player of all time?
Are you going to keep doing this?
No, yeah. I just want to kind of see where more or less you if you had to give it a range. It doesn't have to be an exact number. Just more so, all right, he's between the 30s and 40s, or he's in the 40s, 50s, whatever.
I'd say he's out of the top 25 without a championship.
Okay, so if he wins a championship,
he's in. He's in
the 25.
He could play 0 minutes in the finals.
That's no.
Because you know what? Because you want to talk about 20 or 30 years? 20 or 30 years from now, no one will give a shit that he was on that he didn't play for the championship. People will just be happy that he got one.
Yep. People, yeah. I mean, same thing with Oscar. I mean, Oscar was.
At least Oscar wrote, like, literally grabbed onto Kareem's shoulders.
Yeah.
And rode piggyback.
Yeah.
All the way to the finals.
I don't know, man. Like,
but again, I'm happy for Oscar. And that's why Oscar got talked about. That's why Oscar got talked about more than Jerry West. Even though Jerry West, pretty sure, has more rings than him. But with the triple-double.
Exactly. That's another thing. Jerry West has, 2 rings, right?
I think so, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it just doesn't make sense. The reason Steph is solidified as number 2 for this decade is because of the elevation of the game, where he pushes the game forward. It's undeniable. Yeah. Obviously, LeBron James is LeBron James, but Kevin Durant winning 2 championships, no one really cares about 2. Truly, like, the trend.
That's because of how he won them. The context is key, and that's why I think he might be remembered more for being hated than for actually playing.
So I'm trying to think of Kawhi, he won 2, right? Kawhi, all right. You could argue, all right. 2014, he was on one of the best teams of all time. 2019, he, obviously he led the team.
Doesn't in a very awful way. And he hit a game-winning Game 7.
Yep, in a very lucky way.
Man. See, because you're adding your own context.
No, but I'm
it's not the way it's remembered.
He's going to be looked at like you're saying, not how I'm saying, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And who is going to be talked about more? Who do you think? I would say Russell Westbrook.
Let me tell you something. If Luka Doncic ends his legacy in a few days, I totally get where you're going with this.
That's what I'm saying. Like 2 championships is not literally the bar when it comes to just pure, like, you solidify your greatness.
Yeah,
it has to be 3. Who's Larry? You got Larry.
I agree with that. But that's why I think Russ needs 1 to break the top 25. That's why he needs 1. He needs 1, and I don't. Like I said, don't care how he gets it.
Yeah, I got you. I got Russ there. My boy Russ. Not just my boy Russ.
My man.
But my boy Russ.
So do you both have Westbrook for your pick?
Yeah, I'm taking Westbrook for this award. He is the reigning and defending champion of the Stat Sheet Stuffer Supreme Award.
Okay, well, I think I'm switching from Harden to Jokic, not Westbrook.
Oh, I'm not mad at that. Like I said before, I'm cool. I wouldn't be mad if this award was a real thing and Joker won. But luckily, the committee has spoken.
Dead ass.
And 2 out of 3 have awarded Russell Westbrook. You're welcome, Russ. We will send you the award in the mail.
Yeah,
And
it's easy. I can just send you one of my old trophies that says Wrestle on it. It'll be good.
yeah, it's perfect. Can't find anything, no plaques, nothing. We're good.
Nothing. Don't have to spend a thing. It'll be just one of my old trophies from the late 90s, early 2000s.
We will literally piss on our award if we sent it.
This would be a cool like T-ball trophy.
You know how Drake like drank out of the Grammy trophy?
Yeah.
He would literally take a picture of him pissing.
No, pissing would be too much. He'd probably come on it for sure. But on that note,
You guys are fucking foul. Can I just say that? All podcasts this time.
Did you just call me fat?
Foul. Foul.
Oh, I was about to say, you're fat shaming? That's so mean.
Shame yourself, dude.
Oh, no, I know, but it's different when someone else does it. I fat shame myself and Zion Williams.